Guys, buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. Snag tickets without the stress with Game Time.
Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CHEAPSEATS, that's all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CHEAPSEATS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of View from the Cheap Seats, or look at the week in sports, aka the WEAK, the
week in sports.
In sports, and what a week it has been
of weakness.
If you're a Jets fan, if you're a Giants fan, the weakness, it let it wash all over you.
We have a Giants fan on the show today, one of our favorite comedians, one of our favorite people, someone we've known for a long time.
Fantastic writer in Hollywood on shows and whatnot. He's just an amazing dude. Mat Harawitz joins us, and he is just a blast to riff with, and a Giants fan. So we're going to get his opinions on where he thinks the season is at after a 40-0
loss.
Absolute pantsing at home to their bitter division rival, the Dallas Cowboys.
America's team.
I mean, for it to happen on 9/11, I mean, it just, or close to it. It was like maybe rough. The biggest tragedy to happen in New York.
All right, well, so and we'll also talk about the rest of the NFL and how that shakes out, among other things, including the concept of marriage capital. We'll get into it later, but first, speaking of marriage capital, where you lose a lot of marriage capital,
Mel Tucker. I mean, look,
Tuck coming.
You can't say Tuck coming. You do not want to say that anymore.
That has a whole new meaning right now. Michigan State. Oh, Michigan State.
Oh, Michigan State.
Look, we are your rival as Michigan. We don't want the entire thing to implode. It is more fun when the two teams can actually be rivals on the field.
For those who don't know what has happened, he
got into a relationship, an inappropriate relationship
with Brenda Tracy, who is a
woman with two first names,
an abuse survivor. And she actually might have been a rape victim who goes around to college football teams and explains powerfully
the problem with sexual harassment in the workplace and the issues that are at hand with how men, specifically in the sports world, treat women.
Right. And that is her speech, and that is to educate college players, and it is one of those things that college teams bring in. It's like when a jail brings in someone to scare them straight. This is like don't do this, and here is a survivor, and this person is to be listened to.
Tell you their experience.
To be listened to and respected, and hopefully it'll give you a perspective the next time you're getting drunk at a party and want to take a girl.
So Mel Tucker was like, let me see if I can hook up with this.
Right. That's his attitude, is that
Let me get some of this.
Whether or not and he's claiming that she sent him a bunch of suggestive pictures and started this thing with him. I don't think she started it with him. I mean, the fact that he, instead of listening to it as like, these are the pitfalls you should avoid, he took her speech as a how-to speech. That's right.
That's how he took it.
Not even hearing the last half of it.
Right. Okay. I got it. Registered.
Again,
I gotta go make some phone calls.
You should not be hooking up with people or involved in inappropriate relationship with people in your workplace, especially if you're married. Okay.
Yes. And then also, if we don't know what the terms of his marriage are, so I don't want to.
Maybe they have an open marriage.
I don't want to even get into that.
I don't know.
We don't even need to.
But the power structure of you being the head coach of a football program that has hired this woman to come in and talk, the power structure there, you can't enter into a relationship with that person.
It's not a good call. It's not a good call in the first place.
Look.
And then there were phone calls. And now there's a debate as to whether, there's a phone call where he masturbated on the phone call, and she says it wasn't consensual. He says it was consensual. Now we're into like the details of their relationship, which I'm sure no one wants to hear about.
Which was supposed to be private until someone from Michigan State leaked it out and leaked the information out, and which is against the law, actually, but leaked this information out. And I think, which gets to the root of this take, that I think that Michigan State was having buyer's remorse in terms of
$100 million contract to a guy who got lucky with the transfer portal the first year because of Kenneth Walker III.
And that's it.
And then all of a sudden he's underperforming, except for when he's trying to perform with this woman
on the phone.
But he's underperforming on the field. And so Michigan State's like, how can we get rid of this guy?
How can we get rid of this contract? How can we get rid of this guy? He's going to screw up. at some point because he is Mel Tucker. He's going to screw up. We just wait for it to happen, and then we release it out there.
And we've got the most beautiful opportunity. Let's get him out of here, and let's get Mark D'Antonio back in.
Right. Probably the number one coach in recent. I mean, I would say people would argue Michigan State fans who have been fans for a long time.
In the 60s, they won 2 national championships.
Fine, but next to that guy, which was like Duffy Doherty. Next to Duffy Doherty, Mark D'Antonio is the best coach in Michigan State football history. He's on staff, and he is willing to step in and be your coach right now. I think a lot of Michigan State fans are like super happy that this went down. And I think they are happy that Mel Tucker is out, and now you've got this guy in. Now, can he recruit? I don't know. As an older guy, he's like probably 67 years old.
Yeah.
Does he want to recruit? I don't know. Does he want to move things forward? He's a stopgap.
I think Mel Tucker's focusing on recruiting women to be with him.
That's right.
That's a different kind of recruiting.
He's like, you can be my 5 stars. Yes, probably what he told her.
That's a whole different kind of portal.
Let me give you a little bit of NIL.
But the thing is, you can't do this. We know that. Michigan State was aware of it. They're making it public for some reason.
Michigan State, which, again, every university has this, but Michigan State had Larry Nassar, someone who took advantage of his position to sexually harass and abuse women. You are not the university of...
You don't need this situation is not good for MSU.
No.
It's not. So my thing is, he's gone. Tucker's gone. He will be gone. And I think... people who want to have Mark D'Antonio back are probably grateful that this happened. I don't think they should be, because this shouldn't have happened, period. I feel for this woman. I understand, especially if she... Look, we don't know what happened in their relationship. There's a distinct possibility that they both got caught up in a situation. He should know better. But also at some point, she clearly didn't want to have happen what happened. Mm-hmm. Or she wouldn't be bringing it up.
Right.
That wouldn't be an issue for her. If she's cool with it, then... that is what it is. That's 2 adults, okay? Probably not a good idea given who she is in this scenario.
Yeah.
But look, 2 consenting adults, you can't argue with it. But it's a bad look.
Bad.
It's a terrible situation. It's a bad situation for MSU, and something went wrong, and she wasn't happy with what's going on, or she wasn't feeling.
By the
way,
if you're Mel Tucker, and like, again, we're comedians. There have been moments you do a show on the road and a beautiful woman comes up to you and is like talking to you or saying something that is not suggestive. You're like, this is not... we can't
end
do
well.
this. We can't do this.
Walk away.
Walk away. Even if the situation presents itself, you have enough sense in your body to be like, thank you so much.
God bless.
God bless you. Walk away. Go with God. Whatever it is you say.
Whatever scripture you want to quote. To
John 3:16.
To dry up somebody. Just start
Go
quoting
away.
scripture.
This isn't going to be good for anybody. Let's just go away.
But he doesn't have that in him because, look, if you're a football coach, you probably think you're the greatest thing in the world if you're the head coach.
And you deserve it.
And so this is
why not go after the one
bad scenario that for some people are saying it's a good scenario for Michigan State. It's just crazy that it's happening and that it's happening midseason, that it's happening to this team right now. Already a team that was having trouble. And
I mean, they are 2-0, but they're about to get
I feel for this woman too, who's now going to get dragged through this whole scenario left and right, and probably doesn't want
to doxxed, and like now a bunch of Michigan State fans who like Mel Tucker are going to go after her.
Just go after her. That's not okay.
This is what I'll say to those fans. Be happy you have Mark D'Antonio, all right? And don't go after this poor one like Mel Tucker did. And Mel Tucker, if you want to have a relationship with her, have fun now. You got a lot of free time on your hands.
That's right.
And no money. All right, that's our top take. We come back, Mat Harawitz. So excited to get into all of it with him. And then some crazy quick hits. Crazy quick hits. You want to talk crazy? The BYU Cougarettes and their dance music choice. That's crazy. It's all on the other side.
Ball boy who makes a weird move and throws a ball into the crowd that was a live ball. We'll get into it.
And Patrick Mahomes' Twitter. What, is Jackson Mahomes doing it? We'll get to all that later. It's View from the Chiefs.
Plus Michael Caine.
Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Of course, we are joined by our wonderful friend who, God, I love this guy so much. For so many reasons, this is going to be an amazing show because he knows sports. He's a fantastic writer, a great stand-up, someone we've worked with, someone we've known for a long time when he was just a pup.
And now I was trying to think back to when we met him. We definitely met him at the beginning of his career, stand-up writing and all that stuff. That is true.
Yeah.
And
the beginning of the 2000s.
2000.
Yeah, early 2000.
So we had been at it for 5 or 6 years.
lived on
already.
the same goddamn street.
Yeah, we were. It was
It's
a
like
big
2000.
comedy street.
Yeah.
I think BJ Novak lived there.
Yeah, we lived there. Both of
Price,
us-
Matt Price
Matt
was
Price,
there.
and Bart Coleman lived there. It was just a great,
good street.
Good
it was a good
comedy
street. And I think what we saw in you early was number one, that you're funny. That's the baseline of everything. Okay, so
Great hang,
I'll put it in a
great
sports.
ripper.
I'll put it in a sports reference. Talent has natural ability. Okay,
Does he know how to space the court, so to speak?
So
Does he know where to go to be in the right
court.
position?
I had my footwork down.
Good IQ for the game, good natural ability, and then what's the third element? It's work ethic. And we have watched you through the years as you've written on shows, as you've done all this great, amazing work in a time where it's not easy to get work, and you have consistently done. He's the Wes Welker of writers. He is the, and I know that makes you mad because that's a Patriot,
Yeah,
but
don't
I know
that.
you're
Phil
a Giants.
McConkey of writers.
Thank you.
There you go. I brought it back to the Giants.
I can't grow a mustache. I'm the Phil McConkey.
But the Phil McConkey writers, because maybe a guy who the world sees as like undersized XYZ, whatever you want to say about this person, that person. He's not Plaxico Burress, but at the same time, he's the guy you want in the game because he's going to make the plays
on your team
Make
and on third
plays.
down. Matt Harawitz,
Trust.
welcome to the show.
Thank you
dude.
for having me. Let me
about that intro?
return.
Okay.
Let me
Yes.
return the love.
Return the
Please,
service.
All right,
please,
because
please.
when I came out here, you guys, I think it was post MTV show, right?
Yeah.
Apartment 2F.
That was 97.
Still in my head, like still something I'm aware
3 years
of.
away from it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I see you guys I'm in the Largo scene. I'm just a guy that's kind of hanging around. Am I a fan? Am I one of the players?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out.
You're working your way in.
And-
You were hanging like John Hamm was hanging in that scene.
Oh, he was
Ham
there?
hung out and
Oh,
watched
yeah.
shows.
Straight
there.
hanging.
I did not see that. There had been times where I would be in the green room at Largo, and there were comics who were like, "He's not a comic. He can't be in here." And I won't name names, but I had to leave, and I was like, "All right, but one day I'm going to be allowed to be in
That's
there."
right.
Damn right.
And
That's
look,
right.
you guys
Good
always
motivation.
hilarious, and now what are we? 23 years later?
Yeah.
Even funnier.
Thanks, man.
You guys are at the top of your game. It's thank you for having me.
It's so
I'm
good to have you
glad
on.
we're still
this.
together.
So the point of this podcast is to talk about the week in sports and the WEAK in sports. So like what just happened this past week and who fucked up and all that stuff. But it's fun to talk about it with people who are
Die hard in the mix.
extreme experts in the field. Your Adam Ranks, if you're talking about NFL, Matt Weiner, if you're talking NBA. Like we've had all these people on. Brandy Chastain, if we're talking women's World Cup.
Patrick McEnroe.
Patrick McEnroe. Like Mary
You had
Carrillo.
Pat-
We've
has
had Pat
been
on.
here?
Mary
Oh my
Carrillo's
God.
been on the show. So we've had the experts, and then it's fun to just talk to our friends like you and Nate Craig, and like talk to our
Comics
friends.
who care about sports.
Sarah Tiana, who just
Yes.
like you get into it, and it's like you have your teams that you love. You always have great takes, and you know it from the perspective of a funny thing. So it is. I'm so happy that we're talking to you. I'm going to put this question to you right now, as a New York sports fan.
Oh, God.
Would you rather be right now a Giants fan who lost 40-0 in the rain at home to a division rival and a hated division rival in the Dallas Cowboys at home, or a Jets fan who lost your franchise quarterback on
won
the
the
fourth
game.
play but won the game?
Well, I think I have to say I'd rather be a Jets fan right now, and I'm a Giants fan.
Wow.
saying that.
Because
And
you just see so many problems with your own team.
so many problems with my own team. They built this machine around Aaron Rodgers, and then obviously, as will happen with every Jets season, something terrible happens right away.
I mean, did you watch Hard Knocks?
Oh my God, I watched it. I
Like, how
loved
much
it.
do you love Aaron Rodgers as a result of that? I'm like, everything he does except for the vaccination weirdness is.
Right.
I'm on board with everything.
Right. By the way, between the U.S. Open and the New York Jets, a big week for anti-vaxxers.
Huge.
Oh my God. Huge.
But I fell in love with him. I
joke
fell
is
in
on
love
us.
with him on Hard Knocks. I
Sure.
mean, I watched that show and I was like, I can't be mad at him. I mean,
I
he's
love
got
him.
rid of the long hair. He's back to his.
Who cares? I'm like, do ayahuasca. Like, how
Yes.
fun would it be to do ayahuasca with him?
Yeah,
to go to
talk-
Burning Man with Aaron Rodgers would be like unbelievable.
So you're seeing aliens. He's telling you about
Speaking in tongues?
Yes,
He's giving you like defensive reports.
He's everything. I mean, the way he was like talking to the rookies, the way he was like, explaining how he wants the ball, just kind of given
every
to him.
detail. You got to understand. You got to understand how much it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. To be an elite quarterback in the NFL. You start to understand so LeBron James has the gifts, the physical gifts to be the greatest of all time. There's also those guys who have the mental gifts, the guys who can read the game very quickly, and that's as important as the physical. If you have that plus the physical, then you're elite. Yeah, and that's what Aaron Rodgers
is. And here he is, 20 years in, right? He's like, he's watching, he can read a defense, he can see what guys do. He knows, by the way, someone is, in their three-point stance, who's coming where, and he's switching it. And he's giving that information.
Wasn't there a clip of him from, practice where he's like, no, back up. You're not coming in. I know you're not coming in. To a guy from the line. And you're like, yeah, he knew.
Yes. He can read it. He can read it. He's passing along the knowledge. It felt like to me he was putting together tape to send out and say, I can be a head coach. Make me a coach.
Certainly be an offensive coordinator or a quarterback's coach and work his way up if he has to. But the truth is, watching the other teams, coaches, referees, the respect and love that they gave him throughout the preseason was, to me, for those who want to knock Aaron Rodgers, and there are all these people who hate him and think he's this and that and think he's polarizing. I'm like, you want to hate someone, hate Brett Favre.
Right.
Okay? That's another guy who doesn't believe in the vaccine.
And stealing welfare money.
To build gyms in Mississippi for his daughter, volleyball gyms and stuff. He's just a bad person. Hate him. Aaron Rodgers is not a bad person. Aaron Rodgers is a good person who is beloved in his
How about the moment where the guy pushes him after the play and he's like,
he gets back
and
in
he's
his
like,
face.
I don't know who you are. He's like, you don't know who I am?
Right.
I don't know who you are.
Right. And I like that he didn't back down. He wasn't a pretty boy who was walking away. He was in it. And he was saying, I'm going to lead this team no matter what. And I'm not scared of you. And I love when you see a guy who is an alpha and he's looking up. he's like, hey, you don't do that to me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
So, I mean,
so the loss is huge. And yet you would still rather be
a Jets fan
I think
a Giants
because their defense is just so insane.
The defense is insane. They built an offense around Aaron Rodgers. They got a running back. They
had two running backs.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
So you don't have to rely on. So you're like, hey, let's give Breece Hall just a little bit of a break here,
right?
And bring in Dalvin Cook. And oh, by the way, Dalvin Cook, we're not going to ruin the tread on your tires,
right? And then you got wide receivers they're putting around.
You got Garrett Wilson, who's arguably the best wide receiver, top 5 in the league. You've got rookies. I mean, what that rookie did on that punt return. Both those rookies.
Yeah, they're both undrafted rookies that are in Hard Knocks. You're falling in love with their friendship.
Gibson.
It's a bromance happening. They're playing ping pong. They're stretching.
I know. I don't think Zach Wilson is the guy to carry them to the promised land. In looking at however, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are not what we think they are.
No.
Josh Allen was just beaten by Zach Wilson.
Yes.
So, he was just beaten by, I would say, the Jets' defense caused him to make the mistake. They brought out the worst in Josh Allen.
Yes.
I think Kansas City will be there in the end, but they didn't win their first game.
I mean, no one caught a pass. I mean, I felt like Mahomes. Yeah. Did you watch the quarterback show on Netflix? Of course, we all watched it. And again, you're falling in love with another guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he's throwing passes. They're hitting hands. Yeah. My dad literally wouldn't give us dessert if we missed a pass that hit our hands.
That's perfect.
He was like, no.
That's good dadding. Is what that is.
No dessert. So it's not. No meal.
No.
You get the meal.
He knows I have to feed you, but you don't get the fun.
You suffer through your meatloaf. You eat this.
You get a hard-boiled egg in the middle of the meatloaf. That's what our mom used to do.
Really?
Yeah. Hard-boiled egg in the middle of the meatloaf.
Brilliant.
How did you pull? That's a science experiment.
So it is fascinating, and all of it is fascinating, interesting. All of it.
I want to hear what is your take on the Giants? What is now after game 1? What is your best case scenario for the season?
Can they forget about it and just move forward, or is Dallas that good?
Well, the Dallas defense was insane. I mean, it made if you're
Micah
a Giants
Parsons
fan,
is the best.
Yes, and you're worried. I mean, I would worry about our offensive line. I mean, the way they got
like a sieve.
It was unbelievable. Yeah. You saw they had. on the quarterback's face at the end of the game was those pieces of rubber from the turf.
Yeah.
It's like, how is...
Which,
how
by
do
the
you
way,
let that
people are blaming the turf for Aaron Rodgers' injury.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, wait, the World Cup is going to be here, and you're going to
I
just
haven't
switch
heard
it out
that.
to grass. So when you look at how his
Foot got
foot got caught in there, I think athletes would, if he's on grass, maybe it slips backwards, especially in the rain. It slips a little bit.
Yeah, or
and
the
then
mud gives or something.
Mud gives or something, but this is like catches
caught
it.
like that on his cleat, and I mean, I'm sure you've seen the slow-mo of the rattle of his calf.
Well,
It's
do you think, I mean, there's no chance he comes back, right? I mean,
Not this year.
in general.
For this, I mean, think about what it took for people to come back from that type of injury. Can you do it this late in your career?
So I don't think so. Here's why I think he can.
Can ivermectin fix?
Keith Olbermann was like, "This is what happens. The list fracture is the type of thing that you get when you don't take the vaccine." So what I would say to Aaron Rodgers about what I would say to him if he was my friend, if he was like, if he were you and like you were anti-vaccine and like we're close enough friends that I could say this, I'd be like, so you're going to listen to your doctors about the Achilles heel? Or are you going to do your own research on that? Why don't you do your own, go online and see how you can fix it?
Yeah. Maybe Joe Rogan's got it.
That's what I would say to you.
Go to Austin.
So I think the thing about him as a quarterback is he does not have to make those hard cuts that a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end has to make.
Right.
He drops back, and it's like a lot more of a footwork thing. And he might not be able to scramble as much, which is okay. That's not his game.
Yeah, he had scrambled in 2 seasons.
Well, you become Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady never scrambled, but had great final years.
All you have to do is be able to move laterally in the pocket.
Move in the pocket, and that doesn't take great cuts to do that, so to speak. So I think, we just watched Blake Corum, who is a Michigan running back who basically tore everything. MCL, ACL, and whatever CL that you've got in there. There's like another CL and PCL, whatever. He likes
all the secret
all
ligaments.
3 got ripped.
He tore his Austin City limits.
So his ACL, he couldn't perform with Bon Iver.
ACLU.
He took that out.
So he came back. And he looks about the same. Now he's a college
how
kid.
old
He's
is he?
not.
Right.
He's not a 40-year-old guy.
But Aaron Rodgers taking care of himself. 40's not 60. 39.
Medicine is better, and medicine is in. And the
when you get the best in the world and you get the best rehab people, and that is your only thing to do. Like the reason why regular people don't come back from these injuries is because they have to also go to their freaking job, which is something else. And
when your job is to get back, and it's all rehab and it's all that stuff. So while the team is practicing, while the team is doing this stuff, you're
like 6 hours in a pool.
I don't think
every
it's
day.
bad that he's on the sideline, because he becomes a quarterback coach for the same way he was in the preseason. And you saw how much better Zach Wilson was with him in his ear. So I don't think it's so bad, and I think he can come back and probably will come back next year. That's what I think, because I don't think he wants to go out like this.
But we were talking Giants. So the line is a problem. Saquon Barkley wasn't as impressive as we thought he was going to be.
No, I mean,
is that the line's fault?
I mean, I think no one had time to do anything.
Right.
They were.
So that's Dallas being Dallas.
But that's Dallas being Dallas.
But then that's also the Giants not adjusting. The Giants are like, if they're getting in the backfield right away, then we need to just do some quick
throw a screen.
Yeah, you got to throw a screen. We have to switch it up. You got to try to get. At least move, maybe even switch quarterbacks. Don't let a guy get hit 7 times.
I know.
I mean, it's incredible.
I mean, this is the thing.
Daniel Jones
is like Zach Wilson. They're not elite. They're like Ryan Tannehill. They're not elite. They're like Kirk Cousins, and I think Kirk Cousins and Ryan Tannehill are the most elite versions of the non-elite guys.
Well, that's the thing. I think Tannehill had a horrible week this year. This week, and Cousins I mean, if you watch that documentary, the series where you're supposed to fall in love with everybody, you fall in love with him, and then you come and you watch him this week, and you're like, oh no,
he is who I thought he was.
Yeah, that was
he is who I thought he was.
Production.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but they can't. hit, like so many passes are errant. So many passes aren't where they need to be. And then, so now you kind of look at a guy like Jared Goff and you're like, okay, this is the way I feel about Jared Goff, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. Jared Goff is a system guy. He's the guy you wind him up and say, go do this, and he does it.
Yes.
He can't think on his feet to like
Right.
do something different or change the play or play on a level
or
that,
improvise within the play if it breaks down. Like, he's not the guy. He's the
Right.
guy who maybe hits his second or third option once in a while. But if the play is designed well and the guy gets open, he'll hit him. He'll hit him.
Yeah, he'll hit him. I mean,
He's not going to run for. He's not going to rush for like 70 yards in a game, but he'll roll out
I'd
and avoid
rather
the
have
trouble.
him right now than Justin Fields.
Right. But do you think the Chiefs really brought it to the Lions? Like, was that a fair judgment of the Lions?
No. So
So they don't have Chris Jones.
Right.
and they don't have
Travis Kelce.
Kelce. So
Right.
they don't have the best tight end who probably would have gobbled up like 4 or 5 of those passes
Yep.
and kept those drives alive and would have changed the fate of the game. Yes.
By the way, Travis Kelce seen hanging out with, on the DL, Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
That's happening.
Oh my God.
That's
I can't wait for that tour. I'll go
mean,
see. I'll go see the songs about Travis Kelce.
The player's going to play,
Come on,
play,
wrong
play,
her,
play,
you'll
play.
give her another.
The hater's going to hate.
Right, right.
But so, look, I think you're right. I agree with that sort of supposition that, like, the Chiefs would have probably, if at full force, Lions were pretty much at full force, I think the Chiefs win that game. However, that was the kind of game that the Lions for the past several years have lost. They have
Yep.
been in position, and then Aaron Rodgers throws a bomb, and they lose on a last-second play. Or they're up by 2 points, and you're like, you're up by 2, and there's 2 minutes left, and the other guy's driving.
Over.
You're
Yeah.
going to lose by 1.
Right.
And that's sort of the vibe forever for that team. The fact that
Dan Campbell changed the narrative a little bit. And
Yeah.
that's what you kind of hoped, that the Giants would be the Lions.
Right. Yes.
Can you believe we're saying that?
I know. Well, let's talk about Dan Campbell for a second, because
Sure.
this is a very important thing I've noticed this year especially. Too many in shape head coaches.
Yeah.
We've reached a point where
where's the Andy Reeds of the? Where's the next generation of Andy Reid?
I want more fat coaches.
So
That
it's
was-
like wrestling. Remember wrestling in the 80s
Yes.
was like, if you're willing to put on a Speedo, I don't care how fat you are, you're
Yep,
in the
you're
ring.
Just get it.
Then
Back hair, you get in there.
you're in the
Yeah.
Bill Bulldog, Bob Brown. That looked
Yeah.
like someone's
I
uncle.
want more fat golfers. I want more lumpy herons. Where's the lumpy heron?
Well, I like that. That was our way in. We could relate
Love
to the
that guy.
fat head coach. You're like watching Bill Parcells, like kind of eggy, running around, looking up at Mark Bavaro, yelling at him for blowing a catch.
And Bavaro's Superman.
And you're like, I could be a head
I could
coach.
yell at a big guy in shape. Why not?
The only sport that still has fat guys in it, and Aaron will agree with me, baseball.
Baseball.
Every
All right.
team's got a fat guy who can hit.
Yeah.
Or a fat pitcher, by the way.
Fat
I
pitcher,
mean,
fat guy who can hit. That's the Cardinals' problem.
Yeah.
They don't have a fat guy who can
Everyone's
hit.
too in shape. You need fat.
Give me a
we
fat
need
guy who
one
can hit.
fun fat guy.
Matt Adams used to be Fat Adams.
Fat Adams.
Then he
Matt
lost
Fat
a bunch
Adams.
of weight.
Yeah,
And
we
is he in the
lost him.
league? Where is he?
Right. Oh my God.
You gotta be a fat guy who can.
Kyle Schwarber, is he better now than when he was fat?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, let's
that's a
go.
bad
You
example.
got Jets in shape head coach.
No.
Rams in shape head coach.
yeah.
I mean, even
You could argue
with-
Miami's coach. You can argue like
Yes.
that he's in shape. Now,
He looks like your little brother. He's
Right.
like your little brother. I'm like, wait, we let our little brother who runs a tech company coach the Miami
Well,
Dolphins.
then there's right. That's who's that guy who's running for president? Vivek. I mean, it looks like. But wait, you have the guy in Minnesota. I'm blanking on his name. I can't even believe it. He looks like Joel McHale's handsome brother.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, you coach a football team? That's not fair.
I know.
It's not.
Robert Sala's in insane
said it.
shape.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's like
that's my big frustration with the
Giants
NFL.
have a fat head
That's
coach.
right. Fat head coach, cigar smoking head coach.
Right. He's a guy who's
Unhealthy.
like, unhealthy.
Right.
Just like the
Unhealthy.
team right now.
Come
Well,
on.
I believe he's unhealthy enough to bring us back. I do think
You're believing
So you
in the
have hope?
fat.
I have hope.
Faith in the fat.
I have faith in the fat. I have hope. This is one of those you want to talk about. Don't get dessert. I would love to have been in that meeting where they're watching the tape and just, going over it. And that guy's chewing on a cigar and he's fucking yelling at my left
Spitting
person.
blood pressure like rising.
Right.
Face getting red.
Yeah, just the door, lock the doors. Now you can't leave.
Yeah.
He's going full mafia, full Goodfellas.
Yeah. Like napkin tucked into his shirt.
Yeah, just meatballs and spaghetti for breakfast.
Listen, I'm telling you something right now. You don't start covering these
We got to
guys.
get someone on the outside over there. Just blood dying. He's
three
dying.
tiny heart attacks. So you think the fatness can bring him back?
I think the fatness can bring him back. I do think.
You are in the Eagles division too.
No. I'm not saying we can win the division. I don't think we make the playoffs this year.
You don't
Really?
think we make the playoffs?
No way.
After that one game,
9-7-1, they made the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah.
There's no way. We'd be lucky to be 8-9.
You're
this
better
year.
than Washington.
I mean, yeah, we're
I think you
better
can
than
beat Washington.
Although Washington, they were not as ugly as one would think this week.
They were better. They didn't know Dan Snyder. You got to feel good about it.
People wearing the jerseys, the full stadium. I mean,
Sure, people are excited.
It's a time. The Eagles, I think the Eagles win the division, right?
Me too.
I mean,
although I do think they take a step back. What I saw, I'm like, I think they overperformed last year. I think they're a great team. I think their defense is incredible, and I think Jalen Hurts. He's the difference maker. What are we talking about here? The quarterback is the difference maker. Why I don't think the Jets will go that far. They maybe make the playoffs this year, but like.
I don't know.
I don't know. They just beat a division rival, so that's a big deal. I think Miami's better than people thought they were going to be. They're just electric.
They're
just fun and electric.
Yeah, is Tyreek? Is there anyone better than him
I'm
right
so
now?
happy I have him on my fantasy.
Did you get? Did you take him first? Was that your first round pick?
He gave me, and I'm not joking, 140 points last week.
Wait, so what number in the draft were you?
I auto drafted, so I just let it do, because if I do it myself, then I'm gonna pick in an emotional.
I did
way.
it myself, and I picked when
I
tell you I go into the fantasy.
I got Deshaun Watson and Tyreek Hill. I'm on the all women hating team. I'm like, who's my coach? Mel Tucker?
Right.
What the
you're the only person who had to draft a lawyer.
Right. Instead of a defense. He's my flex option. He's a defensive lawyer.
I called Jacob. I said call Jacob.
It's an LA reference, guys.
So no, it's taking less and less time for me to hate my fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hate my fantasy team so much.
And
who's my backup quarterback? Aaron Rodgers. Dead. Who is my tight end? The second best tight end in the league. Mark Andrews. Scratched before the game.
Oh my God.
Goddard, the tight end for Philadelphia. 0 receptions on 1 target, 0 points. So Andrews and him give me 0 points. The guy I'm playing against has Joe Burrow. He only scores 85 points. I'm like, even with all this nonsense, I can win this game.
You had 77 points.
I had 77 points. I lose by 10 by not playing my bench guy Nico Collins instead of playing Terry McLaurin.
Right.
I'm like, this is. It makes me so angry. I hate it. It makes me hate football. I go into it with the feeling like I should be better than this at this. And then I'm like, why? It kind of is how you are. Like if you haven't played golf for a long time and then you play and you hit some shanks and you start throwing your clubs around, you're like, you don't deserve to do that.
No.
Unless you're playing golf every single day, you don't get to throw your clubs around. I shouldn't be this mad because I'm not devoting my life to learning about fan. I know who's good in the league, and I have a.
I don't even know everybody's good in the league. Like they auto drafted for me, and I was like, "This team sucked." I looked at my team after it auto drafted, and I was like, because I saw
who
it.
the
after
hell
that,
are these people?
I'm like, this sucks. I'm gonna be like 8th in the league or 9th out of 14, and then I get the grade. Then I get the grade back from Yahoo, and it's like A+. You're gonna win the league.
I know. I saw that. I heard that on the last podcast.
Like, what? Yeah.
But it is like here's what I've done. This is how I handle all gambling, all pools, everything. Silent partner. I tell my brother, I go, you pick 2 pools, I'll back you, go in.
It's great.
You do all the picks. Then I look at his picks. Who am I mad at? I'm not mad at me. I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at him.
Good. It gives you a place to put your anger.
Right. No. Silent partner on 2 fantasy teams.
Great.
I put my money in, and then I just sit in my booth and I yell at people.
And get mad. You're Jerry Jones' situation.
Yes, I am Jerry Jones. I'm going to get 4 facelifts. And
no, I
let other women.
I look at my fantasy team like I look at outfits on on Project Runway. I'll see it come out on the runway, and I'm like, oh, that's
great.
a piece of trash.
Right.
That thing is awful. And then the judges love it. They're like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm like, what? How do I
What am I missing?
There's a freaking bird on her shoulder. Like, what are we dressing Bjork? Like, what? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They're like, I love it. It's ready for the Met Gala. And I'm like, I don't understand your reasoning. Therefore, I don't know what I think I know.
Yeah.
That's what
we
fantasy,
think we know sports, but fantasy
No.
is
fantasy
like a
makes
whole
you realize
other,
you don't know what you think you know.
And you're saying you're hating your team earlier and earlier. This is so. My friend Justin Halpern, we were just in Vegas. They were there for a draft, an in-person draft, by the way. In-person fantasy football draft, giant room at the Planet
Single man's game.
I mean,
it's a single man's game.
It was the ugliest room. It was. I called it the convention center of worst case scenarios.
Yes.
You just see all of the postures you're dying to not happen to you. Just the far out neck.
Yeah.
You know, the hunches.
The hunch.
Yeah. I mean, there were. I'm not kidding. This is terrible.
The
There were
hunchback who went
types
to
of
Notre Dame.
there are types of wheelchairs I didn't even know existed. It was terrible. So I'm there. Justin Halpern.
Can they move laterally now? That's unbelievable.
I'm not kidding. It was like
Like
a
that?
full recline, and I was like, "That's a bed. That's a bed."
a rolling bed.
I don't know. I don't. I hope that that's a disease there's a cure for, but
Your wheelchair should not have a sleep number.
that's funny. We're brought to you today by Sleep Number Wheelchairs. Enter
my
promo
number's-
code Randy and Jay.
Like you shouldn't get a pillow with your wheelchair.
My number's 79. It's also the year I'll be dying.
Right. So we're there, and Justin, literally in the 5th round of his draft, goes, "I hate this team."
Right.
And I'm
Hate
like,
'em.
already?
You're not even at the end of the
You're
draft.
right, you're
I'm like,
right.
I hate this team. I hate football. I hate everything.
You could get a great kicker. I don't know. Anyway,
I cashed in all of my marriage capital for this shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I would feel. That's why I can't go to Vegas for like a draft.
in-person draft.
Yeah.
You know, we travel so much. doing
By the way,
comedy
I
to, like,
love
get
I
away.
love the idea of the marriage capital.
Yeah.
because that's what a lot of guys did. I went out Friday and Saturday and came home Sunday. A lot of guys were like, "I got to come in Saturday morning because
right.
I'm saving up for a concert 2 Thursdays from now."
Right,
And I
no,
was
it's
like,
all about like I put it in the bank and I'm not allowed to take it out and like
Right. I have to pick up the kids like
air-
7 times.
It's like airline points. You're like I can only get this far.
If I
can-
use
That's
my
funny.
miles,
I'm upgrading to see a
Marriage miles.
Taylor Swift concert.
Marriage miles.
Marriage miles.
I took both daughters to Taylor Swift. I
that
got
means I can go
I
to
got
this.
250 marriage miles. Is
But
this
I gotta
a bid?
do- but
This
I got-
might be a bid.
might be a bid.
Marriage miles, please take it.
Can we-
I mean, the
All right, we're
idea
gonna do
that
it.
you can then look at what's going on in town for the next year. Like, oh, the Lakers got LeBron. I'm gonna have to save up marriage miles
Yeah,
to
I
see
need
a
to
couple
save-
of those.
I'll go
games.
to Vegas for the football fantasy draft, but I'm gonna have to do the NBA draft on Zoom. There's just no
Right,
way.
yeah.
Like I haven't done enough.
Yeah, I'll go to 3 open houses, even for other Can I get marriage miles by showing up for your family?
Yes.
Is that possible?
What if I do?
You know what I did
all-
out of the blue? I called your mom to see how she was doing. 200 marriage miles.
There was one guy.
I can now fly back from Vegas. I don't have to rent a car and drive back.
There was one guy we were with who pocket dialed his father-in-law.
No.
And I swear to God, while we were walking through the Bellagio.
How do you do that?
He's scrolling. He's like, "Oh no, I pocket dialed my father-in-law,"
okay.
and I was like,
Take
Take
it.
it. Take it.
Take the
Ask
call.
how he's
Ask
doing.
how his
Yeah.
life is going.
Marriage-
Send him 2 videos of your kids playing golf.
Marriage
Let
miles.
him know.
Yeah.
Marriage miles.
Marriage miles. Brilliant.
It's ridiculous. All right.
I was
so,
thinking of you.
So okay, week 1's down. You're saying the Giants are going to make it fix the Giants. Matt Harawitz is
You are now the
brought
GM.
in to be the doctor of the Giants.
You are the coach. You are the GM. You
It's
are
going to
everything.
involve a time machine and Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor used to say that to the girls he was dating.
Here's a white powder time machine.
Yeah, I
Maybe
wish
to
you were
fast forward
18.
the-
like you can't even root for. It's like he was amazing, but then
I
knowing the
know.
person that he is, you're like,
He should have played on the Predators.
right, thank you.
But it is. I mean, if you look, if
worst.
you're a fan of New York sports, it was a cocaine-fueled late '80s. I mean,
Sure.
Matt-
I don't even care about the cocaine.
We're talking
I'm like,
about the,
I know, I know.
underage girls.
I
I'm
know,
like,
but I'm
do all
saying
the cocaine
a
you
lot
want,
of bad
Melissa.
things. A lot of bad things
come
happen
out of
around
cocaine.
that, and
Yeah, sure,
cocaine
sure.
is the starter.
there's a
That's
pile.
the catalyst. All right.
I don't know that I could. I don't. Honest to God, I don't know what you do.
You need a new quarterback.
You need a new quarterback. You gotta. It's going to be a rebuilding 5 years.
So I think you
The
need.
bummer is you have great skill players. You do have skill players.
Where? Who?
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley, yes, but how old is he now?
I know, but like he still has years.
He still has.
He's still got a couple of years, but by the time you get
Saquon Barkley has only been in the league 6 years. Like
right,
he
but
still has like 3 or 4 years.
We're going to draft. So, you think we trade? Is there a quarterback we could trade for? Who do you sign? Like, what happens now? I don't think there's a.
I think you draft. I think you draft somebody who's got the tools, and you bring them along quickly, like 2 years, and then you get rid of. Jones.
I never thought Daniel Jones. He's huge, by the way. He's like 6'6".
Really?
Yeah, Daniel Jones is huge.
I didn't realize how small Tua was, by the way.
Tua's like 5'4".
I know. Hey.
Tua's.
Hey.
No, but you know what it is about.
I'm Jua.
Jua Tungavailoa.
Jua Jungavailoa.
Look, the Daniel Jones of it all was this kid played for Duke. And he did not make Duke a national champion.
I said 6'6".
Right.
Daniel Jones is 6'5".
Right.
Dude,
That's
he's huge.
He's huge, but he's not fast.
He was fast.
I remember that run where the turf took him down, and he was in the
6'5", 220. He should be more agile, and he should be. I mean,
and he should be. He should be able to take more of a hit. Like, look, he kept getting up, but
how tall do you think Aaron Rodgers is?
Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say he's 6'2", but you get lost in his eyes.
Right. What do you think?
I saw. You're right.
6'2".
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
6'2", but once you're staring into those blues.
I met him. Shook his hand.
Yeah.
Good looking guy.
Firm handshake.
Great dude.
Yeah.
Big mitts. That's what quarterbacks have.
Yeah.
Huge hands.
Mitts.
And so I think
he doesn't see the field. Like, there's just something off. I don't know what it is.
How tall do you think Tua is? I said 5'9".
You said. Well, you said 5'4" as a joke. I would say probably 5. Well, the way everyone's talking about him, 5'8", 5'9".
I would have said 5'11".
Really?
Yes.
Kyler Murray. How tall is Kyler Murray? Now that guy's 5'7".
No way.
Kyler
really?
Murray's 5'7", maybe 5'8".
All right,
says 5'10". Now, I don't know if they're
5'10".
listing them taller than they are, but these
He's
is
got-
like
he's got high
it's
heel
Wikipedia.
cleats.
This isn't from like
In his cleats, yeah.
This isn't like lifts. This isn't like the.
I got new shoes that made me taller, and I love them.
I would do it. I would walk around in kiss boots if it was acceptable.
So let me ask you this. Do you, because of that, like, and again, if it was like 28-24 and
no,
they
if they
beat you on
score once, if they show any sort of from the second.
Can we blame the weather in any way, shape, or form?
No, because the rain on both teams
had it.
Yeah,
it was raining when the
Giants had
I'm trying to make it better for you.
there's no better.
So are you? So is this whole
looking at who
season
they're
off?
Well, I do want to see how they bounce back, but yeah, I mean, I think it's
So they play a team they can beat this week. They play the Arizona Cardinals.
They should be able
You
to
should
beat
win
the-
this
you
game.
should win
Is
this
it in
game.
Arizona?
It's in Arizona, so the weather won't be an issue.
Right.
You have a chance to bounce back against another 0-1 team.
Right.
And you're playing Colt McCoy or whoever.
whoever.
But,
So-
but the Cardinals, who'd they play this week? They played. Hold on, look at me.
I'll tell you right now. The Cardinals played.
Come on.
We'll take a look. Anyway, the point is that like I would this is when I enjoy the fact that I don't have an NFL.
Cardinals lost to the Commanders,
They lost
20-16.
to Washington. Yeah, I guess.
So you should be able to beat both of those teams. But
Yes, and you would think like, but the way the team gave up in the first quarter,
Yeah.
it felt bleak. I mean,
They just
by the
were
way,
dominating.
I want to
the
talk you off
Steelers
this
did
ledge.
too.
I want
were
to talk you
dominant.
off this ledge. So I think you can beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And you will probably lose to the 49ers. You'll be 1-2.
You think?
You will.
But the Seahawks are
What
not.
do you think the spread's going to be on that game? By
The
the way,
Seahawks were embarrassing, and that's at home. All right. I think you can beat them.
2-2.
2-2. Dolphins you'll probably lose. Bills you'll probably lose. That's 2-4. I think you can beat the Commanders.
yes.
Now you're
All right.
3-4. Jets you probably will lose. But Raiders, I think you can.
You might be able to beat the Jets.
Oh yeah, we don't know where the Jets.
We don't know
are
where the
gonna
Jets are going to be.
But I do think they're going to come. I think the Jets are a sneaky pick this year.
Right.
So
Like, I really
let's say
do.
you lose 2-4. You beat the Raiders 3-4. You lose to the Cowboys 3-5. Giant.
Wait, we beat the Raiders?
Yeah, I think you beat the Raiders.
Really?
I don't know. I just think by that time you'll figure something. Even
All
if you
right.
don't. All right.
All right.
So 2-6.
2-6. Look at me.
Oh
I'm
my
talking.
God. JJ, you're not doing
Commanders 3-6. Patriots, I think you can probably beat them.
Well, their defense, and they had a good defense.
Right, but like their offense isn't great.
That's true.
So that's at home.
By the way, Belichick, fat coach.
Fat coach.
He's also sneaky fat to
He's
me.
sneaky fat.
So let's say you're
And he's
4-6.
wearing hoodies.
4-6 there. I think you can beat the Packers. That's at home. 5-6. I think you can beat the Saints. 6-6. You probably lose to the Eagles.
Saints.
We can't beat the
I can't beat the
Saints.
Saints.
All right, probably.
Whatever. I mean, but by the way, these aren't like blowout. The only game that I'm like, games that you are definitely going to lose out of the ones he just told me. Definitely, no question. 49ers and the Cowboys again.
And the Eagles. I mean,
so if you put some things together, the range of this season, I think, which is what I'm trying to get at overall, up and down. I'm right or wrong about a couple of these games.
6-11.
7-11, 7-10. I think 8-9 is probably on the mid to higher range of how you can be. If you turn it around, 9-8 is a possibility. I'm not saying it's impossible.
I love your coach, and I do think you have some talent, and I don't think Daniel Jones is the worst thing in the world.
However, so in a couple close games, ball bounces your way. You never know. There's a world in which a 9-8 season is possible for the Giants, even after that.
If I told you that, would you take that right now? A 9-8
yes,
season.
I would 100%. Anything over 500.
8-1.
Yeah,
and that might even make the playoffs.
That might. Yeah, I mean, we made it like 9-7-1. We made it last year, but yeah, I want to believe that. Trust me, I want.
No,
that
I know
to be
the
truth.
I know the disbelief
I know,
in my heart. We
sure.
live with that blackness in our heart. That's the way we talk. But I have distance from
Giants, Yankees, Knicks.
Yes.
Rangers.
I'm not a huge hockey
Islanders?
fan. Rangers is what it would be, but that's because I mean, look, I'm going to call myself what it is. I'm a bandwagon guy. We had a Messier a couple of years. That's when I got into hockey.
94, you were
Mets, Jets, Nets. That's what it is, right? Mets, Jets, Nets.
Yeah, I mean, all the Ets.
All the Ets. Mets, Jets, Nets, and New Jersey Devils, or Islanders.
I think most of them go Islanders.
Islanders.
Yep.
Which are a fun team. Which is a fun team to root for.
I mean, okay, but now rank the sports.
Okay.
I want to hear what your
football is the sport of America, still top above
I'm saying
NBA.
For you guys, what would
for us?
What you get? You're going marriage miles.
Marriage miles.
You get it one day to watch, just to sit down and watch a day of sports beginning to end. What sport? What part of the season?
Saturday college
football.
Period.
Pick any weekend.
All right.
I mean, I'll watch all the games.
I'll watch
a
great
weekend.
rivalry. I'll watch if Michigan's the early game. I'll watch the Michigan game, and then I would watch if we were on the road.
So the beauty of being on the road is like that Saturday
I'm
we
working.
go. Yeah, where we go to a bar.
For the shows.
Well, we got shows that night.
We're trying to let people know we're here in town. We go to a sports bar.
There is something so wonderful about like watching a whole day of college football.
Yes. Okay.
In town.
That's interesting. I don't get college football at all. College basketball I get.
Yeah.
I can't watch college football. I've gotten my friend lives in Columbus, Ohio. I've been to visit him a bunch of times.
Been to a game?
Many times. I've been to one game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the parking lot a lot. There are times where I don't even make it in the stadium.
Yeah.
I stay and I party. You know.
Yeah, it's not your thing.
It's just not my thing. Yeah.
I mean, we took our buddy Jeff Tice, who featured for us in Ann Arbor this past weekend. By the way, thank you to everyone who came out to those shows.
Amazing.
Saw Duncan Robinson on the sideline. Okay, former Michigan guy, Williams guy who transferred to Michigan and now just signed a $90 million contract because he's a great three-point shooter and a huge part of why the Miami Heat are their success. A great like ancillary piece to make that team better. Deserves his money. He was so nice. Knew us. We said, "What are you doing later?" He's like, "I'm going out to dinner." We're like, "After that, come to our show." He said, "What are you guys in town for?" We said, "Doing shows at the Comedy Club." Come to our show. He comes. He comes with his crew,
buddies,
and his buddies, his agent or whatever. They come, and we see him right as we finish up our set and come up the aisle, and he just gives us a huge, handshake, hug.
So fun.
Amazing.
He stayed for the whole show.
Stayed for the whole
him
show.
laughing in the back.
Incredible. He was like loving every minute of it and just a great dude. So amazing. But we take our buddy Jeff Tice, who is, went to Colorado, played basketball for them for a summer. He's got a great story in that he was cut twice at two different colleges by the same coach. So like Northern Colorado, he gets cut. He gets cut by this coach.
Then he walks on at Colorado, and then
makes the team, and then the coach gets fired.
Replaced by the guy who cut him. Cuts him again.
Oh, by the way, the double lean back.
Cuts him again. So we take him into Michigan Stadium, and like it was just amazing to watch. It's like watching a baby walk for the first time. You like
in the big house,
watching Jeff appreciate this whole experience. The whole like walking on the field and going up and watching the game, and like the James Earl Jones opening video, and the crowd singing Mr. Brightside, and I was just like incredible. incredible.
We're just
my
watching
God.
warm-ups from 5 feet away.
Just unbelievable. So
No, that's it. Yeah, it's amazing.
super cool, and that experience is really good. Jay and I have also been to an NFL game and been on the field, like on the sidelines of an NFL game. Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Seattle a few years ago. We did with our buddy David Nickel, and we shot a thing for the NFL Network. The energy in that stadium, and Cincinnati was a good team then. They did not have Joe Burrow yet. They were a good team. The energy in that stadium was unmatched.
Yeah.
So I think it is the sport of all. In America, that's the sport.
Yeah, but again, yes, that's what everyone. That's what society is doing for sure. But I was more curious about you guys in college football.
College football is number one. That's what I would.
I also love day 1 and day 2 of the NCAA tournament.
Okay, yeah.
Those days,
Those days
give
are
me
great.
that
Yeah.
day.
The
Give me that
upset,
day.
the Cinderella
that first
story.
weekend, really.
First weekend, whole weekend. Those first 4 days.
64 down to 32 down to 16. Like that.
Those games are incredible.
Now, what's the sport? What's the sport that you didn't like when you were young that now you're like, I'll watch this.
I'll watch golf for hours. It is the most therapeutic. It's so weird.
It's like, you know how you go to a therapist's office and there's like that little fountain that is just like like the water's coming out of the bamboo and the sound of the fountain. It's like that is the visual nature of golf.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Watching because we play, watching this how good these guys are at their shots. I went to the U.S. Open this year for the first time. Me and my buddy Scott Rogowski went, and he had an extra ticket. He takes me to the U.S. Open, and we were actually watching these guys, and I'm seeing how far they are away from the green. And again, you only watch it on TV, and you see the swing, and then you see it drop where it like you see it in the air, and then you see it drop. To actually have the distance and watching how far they are away.
And having watched your own shot, the best shot you've ever hit in your life. Like, I've hit a drive before 310 yards with roll. That's the longest I've ever driven a ball in my life. Lucky downhill roll at the end of it, but I really clubbed it. That's like the worst. That's like the worst shot of all these.
If someone hits that, it's like, what's wrong with it?
One-handed?
Really?
Did he do that one-handed?
He must be bumming about that one. He
Nick
really
Faldo's like, he's not gonna like that. And you're like, yo, he's not gonna like that.
That's like the best shot I've ever hit in my
Jason
life,
Sklar
ever.
So just seeing that was remarkable, and
Yeah.
seeing the shots they made and how close it would come to the pin. And we saw some guy from like 185 yards out, probably took like a 9-iron, like a 7-iron from 185.
What
and
you would take like a rescue, like a 3-wood.
2 bounces, hits the flag. I'm like, this falls down a foot from the thing. I was like,
The
this
control is
insane.
Yep.
It's so good. It's on such a high level. So I agree with him. Like watching golf is not something that I would have ever said, this is what I want to do. But there's a moment where I've done something physical. I've exercised. And I just want to be peaceful. Sit down and you watch like a beautiful golf course, or like even like the British Open. You're watching. It feels like you're watching from another time period. Dog jumps up and sits on your lap, and you just hang out. I mean,
You're like, I don't even have a dog.
I know.
Who is this dog that I've got now? This is beautiful. Should we take a break?
It's an English bulldog. That's why. All right, here we go. Let's take a break. Come back. We'll do quick hits and tell you how you can support Mat Harawitz.
Yes, it's View from the Cheap Seats. Don't go anywhere.
Guys, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Game Time.
Perfect sponsor for this show.
So I love this app.
I have told everyone about this, Jay. You know this?
Yeah. that's
Everybody.
like people I like in my life, I'm like, do you have
download
Game Time?
You need to be doing it.
You need to get up on this.
Because there are sporting events that come your way. There are friends of ours in Ann Arbor. We told all of the guys on the MGO blog guys who we talked to. We were just at the tailgate, and they're like, I need to get tickets for this thing. We're like, are you on Game Time?
Get on Game
Time and get tickets. And they did for the Michigan football game.
And they got tickets. Last minute tickets. Anything for sports, for comedy, for music. I'll just search a band. And I'll be like, when are
Fleet
they coming
Foxes,
this year?
when are they coming to town?
When's Wilco coming to town?
Father's John Misty, when he's coming to town.
Oh, October dates? Great. Fine. I'm going to get tickets on Game Time and that's the other thing. We as comedians, as parents in our lives, we don't know when we're going to be free.
We have time
All of a sudden,
to think
Thursday
about
night
the
pops
future.
up. You're like, okay, Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats are in town tonight, and I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm going to this concert right now, and I'm going to use Game Time to get tickets that I like. The best part is you go on the site and you can see from the ticket, from when you're clicking on it, the seats. You'll see your view of the stage. That's what I need to see. This is what the concert's going to look like for me. I used it for tickets for theater in New York. It's the best app. We love these guys. We love this app.
You get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, Jay said, comedy and theater and more.
And the Game Time guarantee means that you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section in a row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. There
like Jay said, get images of the seats before you buy so you know exactly what to expect. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're in. It's the easiest thing.
And tickets are directly sent to your phone. It's so easy, so you never have to dig through your email. I love it.
Here's the deal. Snag tickets without the stress with Game Time. What you do is you download the Game Time app. This is what we told all of our friends.
Create an account. Very easy. Use the code CHEAPSEATS, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code CHEAPSEATS for $20 off. Download Game Time today.
Every single one of you should do this.
Last minute tickets. Lowest price. Say it, Jay.
Guaranteed.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Before we get to what Mat Harawitz is doing and how you can follow him, how you can support him.
2 things we want to tell you about. Monday night, Largo. We are doing a show. We have great guests on the show.
It's Tag It, where people do their sets of comedy. We're off in the back. You can see us on stage. We're literally writing tags
jokes.
that we then come on stage after the set and pitch them.
Genius idea.
So it is a stand-up show, but we're not interrupting them. They do their full set, and then we come on stage and do what everybody does in life.
Yeah.
You've been on the road with people. You're just on the road with Whitney. You sit down, and you're like, okay, I love this bit. Whitney, have you thought of going in this direction? You just sat down and gave us such great notes and thoughts about our 2-man show that we did because you think that way. You're a writer, or you've been in writers' rooms, you understand it. This is what we bring to the actual stage. This is what happens in
the show itself, no matter who's performing, is amazing. And add on to that, because it's Largo, we have unbelievable guests. Sarah Silverman's coming back on the show.
Patton Oswalt is on the show. Fortune Feimster is on the show.
Hilarious.
And who's the gentleman?
Dan Nihil.
Dan Nihil. Amazing. Like getting a ton of heat. Like great.
And then a top secret guest, right?
Well, we'll see.
We're waiting.
Sorry,
waiting to hear.
sorry.
No.
I looked up tickets. That's why I know.
Top
I said
secret
secret guest.
Top secret guest.
Yes.
So
we're waiting
on
for that. We're crossing
But even if it's
fingers.
just that, who cares? I mean,
All right, let's just since it's a sports show, let's bet on it. Okay.
Okay, who do you think?
Top secret guest. I'm gonna go. Just because I've been following the comedy scene, I'm handicapping. I know who's popping in what rooms. I'm gonna say it's probably 5-1 Adam Sandler.
Okay. Good. I like that. I like that.
I'll take 5-1.
I like those odds.
I like those odds. So
you got to come out to find out. The other show that we're doing is in on
October 10th. We're going to do it in LA at the Bourbon Room. We're doing it's a Sklar Brothers and Friends show called Night of 1,000 Sklars. And we're working to get folks on that show. Hopefully we can get David Spade to do it. And people are just doing sets and we're hosting it.
Love the Bourbon Room.
Love the Bourbon Room. Spade, maybe Craig Robinson. Just get like friends of ours who we absolutely love.
But we definitely want our fans in the LA area to come out and support us. And then we do another Tag It at the Comedy Store in October that I think you should come on into.
I would love to do.
October 18th.
You're
will
on.
do that
You
show.
want it? You're on.
I'm
Okay.
in.
You're in,
It's a
baby.
Wednesday night.
I'm
You're
in.
Wednesday night, that'll be really fun. October 18th. And on that show, we're going to have Ian Carmel,
Eddie Pepitone.
Eddie Pepitone's on this one
that's
coming
right.
up. Steph Tolev and Mat Harawitz. Boom. We just got 3 people already on that show.
Look at that. You know who I bet would come by too?
Who?
Levy.
Yeah.
Levy, huge fan of
Love.
you guys.
Dan Levy?
Him and I tag each other all the time.
I love it.
We could do a quad tag.
I'd pull Dan Levy into that
We'll
show.
pull him on that show. Okay. Let's do it. So we've got all that stuff, and we'll be in Fort Collins, which, by the way, those shows are selling. That's the 6th and the 7th of October.
Comedy Fort. It's
Great
an
Comedy
place.
Fort.
amazing club.
Supersklars.com, all that stuff. So please.
How can
check
people
out
support you?
Well, right now, obviously, I'm a writer on strike. I was writing on Night Court.
Great show.
Great show. Hopefully have you guys on. Knock on wood.
We
knock
will
on all the
run.
woods.
We will run, not walk to that.
Yes.
We have a great idea.
Great.
We have a great idea that's earmarked for you.
Great.
And when we come back, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now, but right now, I think there's a lot of people that are affected by the strike that are, obviously out of work because the studios will not give the writers and the actors their deal.
Mm-hmm.
I use most of my, comedy show money to support the Entertainment Community Fund,
Mm-hmm.
which goes to all sorts of assistants, crew members, people who need help. Financial help for groceries, financial help for their health insurance.
Amazing.
So anything you can do to support the Entertainment Community Fund would be greatly appreciated.
Love it.
There you
Beautiful.
go.
Let's get into some quick
Let's do
hits.
it.
All right. If you're on the dance team at BYU, you'd better learn to do a lot of dance moves to country rap. Am I right? Like, I'm trying to think of like What weird
What is
songs?
dancing at BYU? Bow to your partner. Bow to your other partner.
Bow to your wife. Bow to your other wife.
Right.
All right. So it's
Longer
like
skirts. Longer.
weird, like river dance stuff.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. You
yeah.
definitely can't like shake it to songs by the 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah.
Which
what would the twerk be? It'd just be like moving your hands really fast up and down.
hand twerk. BYU Cougars did not make their usual performance during Saturday's football game last week during Southern Utah due to a song choice in their routine last week. How much is this the elders cracking down? I'm like, you guys even care about this stuff? BYU's dance team performed a routine to the song Plain Jane by the artist A$AP Ferg. It features sampled beat and some lyrics from a song by Tear the Club Up Thugs and 3-6 Mafia. The song's chorus was omitted for all the dance performance, but BYU still received multiple complaints about the song choice. From who's complaining?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Do you know that at my wedding there was a complaint? Did I talk about that on this podcast?
Yes, I know.
There was a complaint about that the band was too loud. Someone came to us and said someone is complaining that the band is too loud.
At your wedding or
Yeah,
like next door?
At our wedding. And no, we thought it was like people outside and
Yeah.
we're like, can we shut the doors? And we're like, they're
Trying
like,
to
no,
figure out
it's,
everything.
it's coming from a person who's at the wedding. And my wife and I are like,
Who's complaining about
the
the
music?
loud-
Yeah.
And they're like, we said, who is doing it? And they pointed to one over there and I'm like, oh, that's your stepmom.
My dad won't go to movies anymore. Too loud.
Too loud.
Movies are too loud.
Matt, it's too loud. I put on earmuffs and it's too loud.
Meanwhile, he's sitting on my couch. The TV's at 35.
All right, it's at a level of insanity. So the chorus was omitted, and the
What is the
censored
chorus?
lyrics and sampled title. I don't know.
Do you have it there?
BYU Athletic Department Friday.
What's the song?
Said that, okay, the decision to sideline the Cougars drew public criticism. Good. Right? Like there are people who are like, I like BYU football because I live in Salt Lake City and I just,
Yep.
this is what it is.
And
Or
then-
not in Provo or whatever. And it's like, and they're good. Like BYU has been fun. The
Yeah.
Taysom Hill till now, like they typically win like a tough
They
game.
outplay their ranking
Right.
a lot of times.
And if we're gonna pick music, there's a lot of good Mormon artists out there. Actually,
There are.
You could go Imagine Dragons. You can go Killers. I don't know if
Thank
you're
you.
gonna dance to that.
I know,
but-
listen,
Is
Houston.
Imagine Dragons, are they Mormon?
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
oh,
You didn't
yeah.
see that? That was a great
Documentary?
Amazing documentary, and I actually pitched a show with Dan Reynolds, the lead singer.
No way.
About his mission because it's a crazy story that he had, and he's the nicest guy. They came
Seems
out
so cool.
I called him up.
He and his
they
wife
came and
are
they
so
played.
cool.
Yeah, I think there's a.
Are they split?
I think so.
Oh.
But him and Minka
Only
Kelly are
nothing.
so cool. I've heard.
Ah.
No, but
Him and
but he
Minka
came.
Fitzpatrick.
He came. Him and Minka Jeter. He came. He did come and play a couple of songs on the first week of picketing, which was amazing.
Incredible.
So I feel like that band sat down and they're like,
We're gonna write.
can we write songs that can be the songs that go to break during NFL games?
Yes, we're gonna do that.
Yes.
Believe it. Anyway, former BYU player Houston Heimuli, and it's a former player, so
Yeah.
he's kind of in the clear now. Expressed displeasure over the complaints about the song selection.
Yeah, shut those people down.
Over the
Guys,
complaints.
I have the lyrics.
You do. Let's hear it.
Please tell us.
Thank you,
Okay, so
Aaron.
the chorus that's omitted, it repeats itself, but it's
I can't wait to hear you read it.
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah, yeah.
Slowly read it
Yes,
in the whitest
yes.
voice possible.
yeah.
There's going to be
If you
complaints.
slowly read it, Mel Tucker will masturbate to it. So continue.
Now, I don't even know what this means. Ride with the mob, Alhamdulillah. Check in with
Yep.
me, do your job.
Yep.
Ferg is the name. Ben Baller did the chain. Turno for the watch. Pressy Plain Jane. That's repeats.
Yes.
The post chorus though,
Is
sucka N-word dick or something. Yeah.
You think this is the part they had problem with?
Yeah. It repeats 5 times the same song.
All right.
sucka N-word dick. Okay, great. So I
Okay.
can understand.
That's the issue.
But they didn't play it.
They didn't play it.
So you have to then go and listen.
It's not like they play.
Shazam
they're not like
that
they're
song
dancing
and
to
listen.
WAP.
Right.
They're not dancing to WAP.
Right.
That's not what they're
And they're
doing.
not dropping out the sucka drop out,
Right.
drop out. They like
No.
okay.
But that is someone who's like, you know what? I'm gonna try that dance at home.
Right.
And then they went and downloaded
Play the whole song.
Play that in front of my grandma and some of the elders of the LDS church.
Jeez,
oh my God!
come
so
on,
that's
man.
crazy.
All right.
Okay. Oh, Twitter and X, you've done it again. This makes me this next story makes me think that Patrick Mahomes' Twitter got hacked by Jackson Mahomes. Pat Mahomes learned the importance of comma placement and the edit button on X on Monday night. On the platform formerly known as Twitter, the Kansas City Chiefs star shared his reaction to New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers going down in a shocking injury, but his lack of punctuation was problematic. He tweeted, "Hate that man, no comma, ... praying for the best." Which to me is like, I hate that man. I hate that man, but I'm praying for the best.
Right.
I hate him, but I'm praying for the best. To me, which I'm like, that's funny. But within the hour, Mahomes was aware of his grammatical mistake and edited the post to read, "Hate that, comma, man. I hate that man."
Can you edit a Twitter post?
He
took it down and put it back up.
Okay.
Praying for
You
the
can
best.
edit if you pay for it.
Oh, thank you.
I like that you can edit now your texts, but it says edited.
Edited, right.
You ever get one of those?
Yeah, and it's like, what did you screw up on this?
What did you mean to say?
Right.
He then added in a separate post, "Knew I was going to need that edit button on here one of these comma days." I'm just kidding. Alongside of a laughing, crying emoji. So it's like, again, he's just trying. Also, like,
Leave him alone.
it just is
like the grammar police that's a little hacky at this point.
Right.
Getting someone for how they
Defund the grammar police.
You've always said that.
I have.
And you've got no blowback for that either.
No.
Why are they funded in the first place?
Right.
Although that would be a great reboot song of the Dream Police. The Grammar Police.
The grammar police, they live inside of my head. The grammar police, they always wish I was dead. All right, okay, so
I just
finally.
can't believe that like Sting won't get back together with the grammar police.
I know, man.
It's such a bummer.
It's a ridiculous thing. We all have a bad day at work sometimes, even if you're a ball boy. On Thursday night, a member of the Marlins crew committed the cardinal sin of being a ball boy.
What's the cardinal sin? Losing 90 games?
That's the cardinal sin.
That's the cardinal sin.
Yeah, the poor guy seemed really amped to have an opportunity to throw a ball in the stands. The issue was that it was still live.
It was a fair ball.
Oh my God.
After being hit fair by Freddie Freeman, so instead of giving the Marlins a chance of recording an out, it gifted Freeman a franchise record tying 52nd double of the season. And if you're Freddie Freeman, you're just taking that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Steak dinner.
No asterisk.
Yeah.
Ruth's Chris's house. Think about it. He was probably just sitting in his seat on like hoping you have a chance to like catch a ball.
Yeah.
You get really amped up.
Did you see that dad who reached over?
Oh yeah, at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way he accepted responsibility and was
Yeah.
like, "Listen, man, caught up in the moment, trying to get a ball for my boy."
That's right.
It
This
was
is the
like-
thing. I went into dad mode,
Right.
And I forgot that I was at a Dodgers game.
I love that he owned it.
Was it called fan interference or what?
It was called fan interference, but it would have been I think
ground rule double? It wasn't a home.
It might have gone out.
He went
No, it
over
was-
the
I
wall
think-
to get it.
Yeah, it was in foul territory. I think it just stopped an out.
Foul.
That's all
I thought it was
yeah.
in fair territory.
Oh,
Did you see that, Aaron? Did you see that one? It was finally time to spring into action when it was ready. You get overwhelmed by that point. I think we've all screwed up. It's just nice to know, and it's nice to see that. But like that he picked up a fair ball and then chucked
to the crowd. I was like,
"What are you doing? What are you
I know.
doing?" And the Marlins were. I'm like, to me. It probably hit a bunch of empty seats because it was the Marlins. It doesn't matter how good the Marlins are. Our friend is part of the ownership group of the Marlins. Ari Ackerman went to Israel with this
I feel like
guy.
we're the Marlins of comedy. We walk out and we're like, how are there empty seats
What
here?
they're so good.
I went to see the last time we were in Miami. We went to see a Marlins game. We got tickets that
There's a
day.
giant pachinko thing in the outfield.
Yes,
It's
it's
beautiful.
amazing.
The $89 seats, 10 rows behind the
dugout?
behind the dugout.
That's
Incredible.
insanity.
It was 4 amazing seats, and I got to speak to Don Mattingly.
I actually made 3 pitching changes.
Look, here's the deal. They need to start giving away with season tickets or with tickets cocaine. It is Miami. Give a small little bag.
Hello to my little friend. I love it. All right, well, there you go. That is it. And hey, Patreon fans, we have an unbelievable Patreon video. We're going to break down.
So we talk about ways to support artists. The ways to support Randy and I, who also are striking on 2 fronts right now,
Double front.
is to join our Patreon. It's not a huge
$5
commitment.
a month. It's
we'll
not
give
a
you
huge
tons
commitment.
of extra free content.
You get extra cheap seats episodes on there, cheaper seats, and then we do long versions of these videos that are the funniest sports video
That has come across
our
our
feed
feeds.
that week.
Right.
And so we handpick it. Jay and I do so much. We go through our feeds and we say, what's the funniest thing that's come through? We found something this week.
We scour through our feeds instead of hanging with our children.
Right.
For you.
For you. So join our Patreon for that.
Do they
Matt-
get meet and greets at the shows?
Who? The
Patreon
Sure,
members.
you
Yes.
can
Throw it in. Look at that.
Throw
I
it
just
in.
added value.
Meet and
Bumped it
greets
up.
at the show.
Matt Harawitz, how can people follow you on X and Instagram and IG?
I am at Hulkowitz on X and at LA Harawitz on Instagram.
Spell Harawitz.
Harawitz. LA Harawitz was just supposed to be a place to put up pictures of my kids, and now it's content.
It's content creator.
Good.
Join it, follow it, and join our Patreon so you can.
If you're listening to the show, we got a great voicemail coming up later on the show from Michael Caine.
Stay with us through the break. Hey guys, welcome back to the show.
Mat Harawitz.
I love him as if he were sitting right across from us right now. I'd tell him to his face I love him so much. Fantastic. Follow him. Support the Entertainment Community Fund.
He is sitting
Who said
across
that
from
right
us.
there?
I don't know.
Entertainment Community Fund.
Brilliant. Love
As
it.
we mentioned, we have a voicemail from Michael Caine. This came across our feed this week. A phenomenal Michael Caine
Unbelievable story, which leads to a deeper truth. Check it out.
Jason, Randy, it's me, Academy Award winning actor, Michael Caine. And I was thinking of a story, a true story, of this time where I was shooting a picture down in the Philippines. I was in the town of Manila, and while we were there, we were invited to a party. And it was a very posh party at a very nice house. And I would go up to the party, and I'm being introduced to people, and I'm walking around saying, hello, my name is Michael Caine. And I'm saying this to people, and I'm getting a drink, and all the while, the woman who's throwing the party is on the other side of the room, and she is giving me the stink eye. And after a while, she walks over to me, and she says, excuse me, are you a drug dealer? And I say to her, no. Why would you think that I'm a drug dealer? And she says, well, why is everybody going around calling you my cocaine? You see, she thought that my name, Michael Caine, people were actually saying the word my cocaine. Now, the irony is, gents, is that at that party, I was selling cocaine. In fact, I was in the middle of a large run of cocaine from Panama, going through the Philippines to get it all the way to Japan. Because that's what I did. And a lot of my movies that I shot during the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and even in the 2010s, I was also running drugs. So it's a funny story, but it's also a true story. My cocaine.
Thank you, Michael Caine.
Thank you, Michael Caine.
Thank you, Michael
I
Caine.
love you,
Michael Caine. And thank you, Kenny Stevenson, the great Kenny Stevenson. The dude is a genius. Follow him, Kenny G. Stevenson, on all platforms. Guys, thank you to everyone who came out.
Come see us at Largo.
Largo on Monday.
Bourbon Room on October 10th, and then Comedy Store on the
18th
of
and
October.
Also, by the way, we're going to be at the Comedy Fort in Denver. Those shows are selling
6th
out.
and 7th.
6th and 7th of October. And we just we're coming back to Denver proper. We'll be there at the Comedy Works South Club at the beginning of February. Supersklars.com for all of our things. We love you guys. Punch a waterfall, and we'll see you next week.